Alright, so here's my outside setup. There's a plane flying overhead, of course. Anyways, this was my dog pen. So I had a couple beagles. We recently got rid of them. We don't have them anymore. That's a story for another day. But anyways, I had a couple beagles that we kept here. And we had the empty space. And I think I was like most people in 2020. We went out to the grocery stores when everyone was buying the toilet paper and found out there's not a whole lot of meat on the shelves. And so it was at that point I started thinking, you know what, maybe it's time that I start producing my own meat. So I am a hunter. I deer hunt, turkey hunt, squirrel hunt, all that. So during that time, we did have meat in the freezer. So we ate a lot of venison in that spring and summer of 2020. Thank God we had it because we had situations where we went a couple weeks without burger and beef and stuff like that. So we did okay with the deer meat. Chewed it up. It's pretty good. But with all that, I thought, you know what, maybe with the space I have available, maybe I could look into providing my own meat for the family. So that's where my idea for the pigs came in. I actually considered cattle, but I thought that was too ambitious. I have chickens. I've had chickens for years. I love having chickens. They're so easy. They poop you out a couple eggs every day, and it's a wonderful way to produce a food source without really any effort at all. I go out and feed them one or two times a week, and that's really about it. Now, I'll let them out in the yard to mess around, but they're very easy animal to deal with. So I figure I would try pork first, and then maybe work my way up to beef. So like most people, I started watching the YouTube channels and thinking, I can do that. I mean, with YouTube, you can do anything, right? So I had the pen space from the dogs. I figure it's going to be more than enough. I have two things going on here. One's the outside section that you see here. The other is the inside. So I'm going to show that to you. So this is actually the hole that I'd cut into the side of my barn. So what I have here actually is an old barn. It was here when we bought the house. It had 3 stalls in it, and I think the previous owner must have had horses at some point, because they're basically 3 horse stalls. When I bought the house, he did not have horses. The pasture fence was gone, so he hasn't used this for anything more than storing firewood for years, it appeared. So I thought this would be a great place to keep my dogs. Provides them an inside the barn area to stay out of the weather. I built this enclosure on the outside so they can come out, hang around outside. Well, the planes are active today. But anyways, so I have a hole that allows them to go into the stall and then come out and then be in the outside contained area. But as you can see, this hole was meant for a couple beagles. It's probably not going to be big enough for a hog or a pig. So as soon as I'm done building my feeder and my water here, I'm going to open that hole up a little bit bigger so the pigs can get in and out. Alright, so this is the inside of the stall. So you can see there's a stall here. There's one here that he used for firewood. And then there's a third one over here which we converted to a chicken coop. So this is where the chickens stay. They have a similar setup where they can come into the stall area. They have a hole where they can go out to a run. And then they have their nesting boxes over here. So my pigs will be right across from my chickens. The stall itself is actually about, I don't know, I think it's about 12 foot deep by 10 foot wide. So it's a really big stall even for a horse. So I think it'll be plenty big enough for 2 pigs. So I think this is going to be more than adequate for my pigs. We came in here last night, got a bale of hay, spread it all around. Me and the boy worked on it, and well, he had a good time doing it. He is excited, thinks he's going to be a farmer, so he's really excited to get some pigs. Be curious to see how excited he is when we're out here shoveling the poop. But anyways, he's pretty excited. But like I said, this is only maybe 12 inches high opening. So obviously the feeder pigs that I'm getting is going to be much bigger than that. So I want to get my saw, open this up a little more, and I think it's going to be a pretty good setup. So.
There you go. Good job. Alright, I think we could finish the rest tomorrow, I think.
We can do some more.
Yeah.
What now?
I think we're pretty much done for today.
So today's pig pickup day. Some of you may be wondering how I found feeder pigs. I live out in some rural area just outside of a big city, and I went on Craigslist. I mean, that's the short of it. So after reviewing YouTube and everything else, there was a lot of advice on how to find pigs. The easiest for me was to go onto Craigslist, find a couple farmer sellers of feeder pigs, send some emails or responses through Craigslist, and I asked them a couple things. One, how long you've been raising pigs, because everything I understand is you want to find somebody that's been raising pigs for a while. That way you're not getting a bad pig or just getting a pig that's been sick and somebody just doesn't know how to take care of it and they're trying to get rid of it. So I asked them how long they've been raising pigs, asked them the crossbreed or the breed of the pig. There's a whole litany of websites you can go on to look at what kind of pigs are best for you, the different breeds. In addition to that, I just asked about how big the pig was. That way I know about what I need to get them home. So my understanding they're about 50-pound pigs. I have an old dog box I'm going to try to transport them in. We'll see if they fit. If not, we have to come up with some other idea. But yeah, I mean, honestly, a lot of advice that I've gotten off of YouTube and web pages kind of advised against going on the Craigslist and just finding feeder pigs, but that's what I had access to where I'm at. So there are pig farmers in this area, but I don't know them, and I don't know that they sell feeder pigs. So anyways, I did talk with the farmer a little bit, so we're gonna head up there. It's about a 45-50 minute drive. Hopefully get them home today. If I go up there and the box isn't big enough for them, then we may have to come back tomorrow and think of some other way to get them home.
Smaller. Which spotted one you want?
The one that doesn't have that spot. That one? Yeah.
You like the more pink one? Alright, well I want to try one of the hamps, so.
I'll call in there and you point whatever you want and I'll grab it.
What's that? You got it?
You got it.
There we go. There's Sarah's pig.
Good. Is it closed?
Yeah, it's closed.
I'll hand them to you.
It's okay, George. It's not a problem.
Got it? Alex.
Hello, piggy. Hello, piggy. Alright, so they've been in their pen about 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. They've already figured out their water. Actually, the farmer used a similar setup as this, so probably not a bad thing to ask about what kind of feed and water setup they have. That way it's an easy transition. So he had something just like this, actually a blue barrel with a couple nipples hanging out of it. So they know right where to go for the water. They started hitting it in the first hour. Got the feed box set up. We actually put them a barrel or a bucket of feed out just to get them to eat something. They've already tipped that over, feeding off of the ground now, so you can see it's all over the ground over there. Not quite used to us yet, but they're starting to come around. I can get them pretty close, and we've actually petted them a few times, but they're still pretty wary. So hopefully in the coming days they'll get used to us. Alright, so as you can see, it's a beautiful winter wonderland. However, I'm out in it trying to thaw out my water. First mistake of a new pig owner. Filling up a 55-gallon drum about 3/4 of the way full with water in the wintertime. Did not expect it to get this cold, but it did. I mean, it's Ohio, it's December, but I thought I had a couple more weeks till it got cold enough to freeze a drum, but here we are. Anyways, so I went to the Tractor Supply, got a little plug-in water heater. It works. It's just a matter of getting through the ice to melt this stuff. So I do have water for the pigs at this point, but the nipple down there, I don't know if you can see that. The nipple is a little frozen up, so you got to come out here and take a blowtorch and melt the ice off of it. So I'm hoping once I get this drained down, I want to do the smart thing, and I want to put this barrel inside in the barn, and then they can access the water from inside instead of outside. So stupid mistake, probably should have thought about it, but you know, you get in such a rush to get your pigs, get everything ready, you don't always account for everything. So in the meantime, I got them a little bucket here. Another tip is strap that thing down, because they're going to kick it over every time. So there's plenty of water for them for right now, and it's actually going to warm up in next day or two, so this water is going to thaw out. When it thaws out, I'll probably end up dumping it and moving this thing inside, but for today's purposes we're going to have to do it like this. So live and learn. Alright, so it's been about 2 weeks since we got the pigs, actually a few days over 2 weeks, about 16 days. As you can see, they've gotten used to me. They're at the point now where I come out and they think I'm going to give them a treat or some table scraps, so when I come out they come and check me out to see if I have any food in my hands.
So, 2 weeks in, what do I think? So far, I'm loving it. They're an easy livestock to own. Doesn't take a whole lot of maintenance on them. Really, what I do is I come out here and make sure the water is running every morning. I have my heating element plugged in, and it keeps the barrel warm enough so it doesn't freeze. Now, I've unplugged this thing because in Ohio we're at that point where we're getting 40-degree days, and then one day it drops down to 20, and I'm cheap and I don't want to leave this thing plugged in all the time if I don't have to, so I unplug it. Then the temperature dives below freezing and then it freezes up. So I have to come out here with a torch, heat up the spout, get the water running again, then plug the heating element in and get it going. But honestly, if you didn't care, just leave the thing plugged in, and I don't think you would have an issue with the nipple freezing on you. As far as maintenance for the pigs, I come out here, make sure they got food. I'm going through about a 50-pound bag of feed every week for the both of them. So 25 pounds each, roughly, per week. Now, as they get bigger, obviously I'll need more feed, but where I'm at, I'm spending somewhere between $11 and $14 for a 50-pound bag of feed. I got a feeder box that I've built. I put 2 bags in there. It's 100 pounds of feed, roughly, and it stays full all week. So I'm coming out here, topping that off once a week. My drum holds 50 gallons of water, so I haven't refilled this thing yet. I told myself I was going to dump it and put it inside. Well, I'm still 30 gallons of water full. With the heating element, I'm in no rush to put it inside like I originally thought I was going to. So at this point, honestly, you're just coming out here and checking on them, making sure they're looking healthy. They sleep most of the time. If you look on the inside, I put all this hay and straw out. They've taken all that hay and straw and mounded it up in the corner, and that's where they sleep. And they sleep there a lot. These things, I understand they're little, but they sleep a lot of times. So really, about all they do is eat, drink, sleep, and crap. And that's pretty much the gist of it. So at this point, my thoughts on having feeder pigs. So far, it's a great idea. I don't have any issues with it. Talking with some people, my understanding at this point is I should maybe be shopping around for a butcher now. At least in this area, I've been told it could take 2 to 3 months to get into a processor to have these things butchered and packaged. If you're going to do it on your own, it's not a problem, but if you're going to pay to have somebody do it, it may be advisable to get on that earlier than later. That way you're not ready to take these things to butcher and find out, it's a 2-month wait to get there. So, yeah, I think maybe in the next month or 2 I'll call around, get something scheduled, and hopefully sometime around April, May, it'll be big enough to take in. So, all in all, my opinion on feeder pigs, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks in, definitely a good idea. So if you're thinking about doing it, give it a try and see what you think.